Welcome back to Snodland Town TV. I am glad to have with me today the management team of Luke Jessup and Fred Dillon. So first of all, Luke, if you could just quickly give me a rundown as to the changes that have been made to the management team during the off-season.
Yeah, quite straightforward really. There was an opportunity that presented itself. The timing was perfect, shall we say. Fairly straightforward decision. Got Fred in, and the guys that come over with him. Onwards and upwards, and there's a massive opportunity here with Fred's sort of skill set, knowledge, and everything else that Fred brings, his energy. It was a no-brainer.
Absolutely. So, Fred, if I come to you, welcome to Snodland Town.
Thank you.
Good to have you on board.
Cheers.
How did it come about?
So listen, me and Luke been friends a long time, and obviously it's something we speak about on holiday, etc. Getting an opportunity to work together. Previously, where I was over at Glebe, during the close season, there were some changes made there, so I came out of it, and then ultimately we had a conversation, and ultimately it was timing really. It felt right. Luke approached me, and obviously then spoke to the club, had a chat with them, and then came back to me, and we all sat down together and had a real positive chat, and we've ended up here where we are now. So
okay, and for those on the channel listening who don't know, you're going to be joint managers. So how do you see that dynamic working?
Do you want me to speak first?
Okay. So look, it was an opportunity. It presented itself, and we seized the moment. The timing, like we say, was perfect. And obviously, I've got a lot of respect and time for Fred on and off the pitch. So it wasn't really, certainly from my perspective, ever in doubt that Fred commanded that position, and I wanted to make it happen. I was more than happy. I'm not a power hungry sort of guy. I want what's best out on the pitch, and from Fred's perspective, I felt that it was the best place for us. We're completely 50-50. Sometimes you can see that could have some sort of negatives, like who's actually in power, but there isn't a power struggle. It is as 50-50 as 50-50 can get, and sometimes say our problem shared is a problem halved, or whatever way you look at it, and it's just the perfect fit for me.
Brilliant. So going into the new season, obviously we've obviously documented previously the struggle of last season. What's it been like trying to build a team or a squad for the forthcoming season?
It's actually been all right, to be honest. Luke's got a batch of players that were heavily involved last year. I've got a batch of players that I've worked closely with over the years. We've pulled them together. So it's given us a basis of what we want, and now it's about trying to cherry pick others that we both highlighted across the season that have done well at the level, and bring them into what we're trying to build here. So
yeah, just to touch on that as well, we had a couple of questions from players like, Luke, you've got your players that you like, because Fred's got his guys that he's brought over, and maybe the newer guys, excuse me, was well, where do I fit? But we actually turned that on its head and said, you're in the best position possible, because we obviously are trying to build something here and build new talent into the team and bring it together as a group. So it wasn't necessarily a Fred's player or a Luke's player. It's quite the opposite. You're now our player. There's an opportunity here for you. We've both invited you along to the club. So make of that opportunity what you will. And we sort of turned it on its head.
Definitely.
And is there, I mean, like we talked about, I know I'll ask a question anyway, so what you tell me. Is there anything you can give us in terms of names of people that might be returning, or people that you're bringing in that you're excited about?
We're probably complete the Fifth Amendment on that one. We're going to try and look. We've both been, and we both are very much on board with this mindset that we're quite keen to keep our cards close to our chest. That won't be changing, even for you, Glenn. Sorry about that. But rest assured, like, I know you've just been out to our session today, 22, 23 there, plus I think we've worked out there's about 12 or 13 that are going to make it because they've got other holiday. So there's an abundance of players. It's now our job to sift through them, make sure that we get the best squad group characters possible. And yeah, it's not just all about football ability, it's about what you're like as a person, mindset.
Yeah, it's really important.
Has it been difficult? Obviously, we had a long time with the Snodland Lydd decision hanging over us. Was it difficult getting people to commit because they didn't know what level we were going to be at, or was it?
The toughest bit with that is probably, Luke was uncertain, but when I was speaking to players and I was saying that I was coming across, it was a question that was always asked, what league they're going to be in, But ultimately, at the end of the day, we want the right characters at the football club. So if they want to work with both of us and what we're trying to build, then which is what has happened. We've got the lads in regardless, and obviously the best bit of news was knowing that we were going to stay in the league. So now it's just a win-win.
Yeah. Any comment on that decision, but from the league about Lydd? Obviously, it was something that we talked about in the last season.
Yeah, well, ultimately, my personal view is the right decision was made, and yes, there was some uncertainty around it, but there was 12 other clubs in a similar position, and it didn't quite go in their favour either, and that's enough to say on that subject, in my view. From the bottom of my heart, do I feel sorry for other clubs and the position that they left themselves in? Yeah, like no one wanted to be in that position, and a genuine sort of remorse and empathy for them. But at the end of the day, the decision was never in doubt, and I was quite clear on that from the off.
Okay, so then when I spoke to you after the cup final and I asked you about what we would be doing going forward, you said, well, look, if I'm going to stay here, I want to make sure that we're not in this position again. So what do you think the goal is for this season? What's
the goal and what's changed, I suppose, is the question. I suppose visually, like as of maybe a hierarchical or positions in the club, we've now got joint managers. That's on the face of it. Behind the scenes is, I think we're going to have a whole new different set of energy around the group. You can already see it today. It's everything that maybe we didn't have last season, but I can already see the early signs of it today in the dressing room, on messages that you're getting from people. There's a newfound sort of lease of life for everyone, and on and off the pitch, even from a board perspective. Having that little bit of uncertainty hanging over you, but now, like, it's all guns blazing. Silly little things like all the new balls turned up, the new kit that we're being was just about to arrive. All those little bits and pieces, and even the kids. When there's a kid earlier say, "Oh, the FA Cup draws around the corner," it's massive for people, and we couldn't be any more important. Like, we spoke to a few of the Snodland ultras that are out there earlier, like the hardcore fans who come to watch. I think there's 15, 20 of them that come to watch our session. So it's good vibes. And I think already people can sense that.
So next question, from a fan's point of view, I guess, obviously well documented the struggle last season. Do you feel that pre-season with the fixtures that you've got will help you to build kind of towards a new way of playing, or is it what's the plan with your pre-season schedule as it is?
Yeah, so on last year, the only bit I'll say was I watched quite a few of the games when I had the opportunity, and I felt it was quite a young side. So our basis this year was, look, pre-season we need to get a few experienced heads through the door just to help with some of the younger ones. And then now the pre-season, when we've looked at it, obviously we've sat down and spoke many different ideas, but it's now pre-season needs to have running, we need to have a lot of ball work, but we also need some games, because there's no better way of looking at everyone. Even today, just having a little in-house between us, you see so much more than you do when they're just running up and down the field or a little small-sided game. So there's an opportunity now where we sort of know how we want to play, what we want to do. It's just going to be filling the gaps with the right players to make that happen.
And then how would that be? I mean, obviously we conceded a lot of goals last season. I think we had the worst goal difference in the league.
Yep.
How is there going to be a change of, call it, strategy on the pitch, or is it going to be? Is it going to be much the same, but with different players?
Yeah, I think that really answers the question. You know, like we was young last year. This season, we need to have some bit more experience in there that understand the level a bit better. When the going gets tough, who's digging us out of a hole? And hence why we've put everything together where we are. You know, there's been some, you know, even out there, some loud voices, something that maybe the youngsters will learn from, and there's heads that will take us and, should say, put us in a better position on the football pitch.
First of all, as I say, welcome to the club, and I'm looking forward to getting to speak to you more over the
100%,
season.
100%.
Thanks for your time today, and just wish you all the best. So both of you, thank you for coming on the channel, and we'll see you soon.